The Drop Back with Sam Lewis, Matt Burns-Peak and Joe Costanzo.
Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of the Drop Back podcast. It is an extra special episode today. We've got so much to talk about. I am joined down the line by the regulars, the regular average Joe Costanzo down the line. How you doing, Joe?
Oh, nice call out to my secret second Instagram
Regularity?
page.
Your secret Instagram page.
Yeah, average
Nice.
Joe. Go follow it if you don't.
Shameless
Instant
plug. I
plug.
love it.
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Not too bad. We're also joined as ever by Mr. Sam Lewis. How are we doing, Samuel?
Yeah, pretty good. Same as last week, still trapped inside, but we'll get through it again. How are we doing, Matt?
Not too bad. Yeah, everyone is trapped inside.
Slew's
Main
lying.
doors,
He's
everyone.
actually ill.
Wow. Slew's
I
contaminated.
didn't want to make it all about me, but yeah, I'm a little bit under the weather. But
Oh no.
I'll be okay. Don't worry about me, guys.
So this will probably be Slew's final episode then, so let's make it a good one.
Nice.
And most importantly, we are super excited to have our resident college football expert, Stan Wilson, joining us on the call for his first ever Drop Back podcast. How you doing, Stan?
What's up, Matt? Yeah, I'm excited to be on. Expert, I think, would be a bit too far, but I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Excellent. Yeah, well, super glad to have you on this week, and especially this week as well, because we are talking draft, fellas. NFL draft has just concluded. It was fantastic 3 days. Some great picks, some
Always is.
less great picks. So let's kick things off on a positive, guys. Let's talk about biggest steals of the draft. Who did we think was a fantastic pickup? Joe, do you want to open the batting with your pick for the biggest steal?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I don't mind opening it up. I thought one we kind of have to take notice of was Josh Jones,
Oh, he
obviously
was mine.
tackle prospects.
Love that.
I know we're gonna have a lot of crossover here. Went to the Cardinals. I know it's Stan's team. He was in the third round, and everyone kind of had him. I know I had him mocked in the first round,
Same.
and quite a few other analysts had him mocked in the first round as well. And it's quite surprising to see starting level talent fall to the third. And apparently the Cardinals are going to move him over to right tackle, so he played left tackle in college. But then he's going to go straight into a starting position, which I think is a pretty big steal in the third round.
Yeah, especially with the system he played in college. I know Stan will be able to add a bit more here, matching up pretty well with what the Cardinals do. He played an air raid system in Houston with De'Aaron King, who's a shifty quarterback similar to Kyler Murray in a way. And Stan, not only as a college football expert, we're going to ride with it until the wheels fall off, but also an Arizona Cardinals fan. How do you think he'll add to your team going forwards?
I think they'll keep him at left tackle as depth for DJ Humphreys. As at right tackle, we currently have Marcus Gilbert and Justin Murray, who was actually quite good last season, despite the fact no one's ever heard of him. So yeah, I assume we'll keep him at left tackle until Marcus Gilbert inevitably goes down.
Fair play. You know your team better than I.
Joe, I'm fairly certain we all know the Ravens better than you as well, so it's not
Shut up.
it's not that deep, mate. I like Josh Jones as well. I think that's a really good pick. Slewy, anyone else that took your fancy?
CD Lamb going to the Cowboys.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a first round pick, but he was
It's a soft
such a
one.
quality wide receiver. A soft one. He went at 17th overall behind Henry Ruggs. He definitely
No,
should
as
have
in, I
been-
mean, it's a soft spot for you, Slew, because I know you're absolutely dying
Oh.
for the Eagles to trade up and get him.
Yeah, I was a little bit peeved,
Angry?
shall we
Confused?
say, when he got so close. We didn't trade up to grab him, but I think CD Lamb, especially in the offense with Amari Cooper taking away defense on the other side, he's going to do, unfortunately, very good things for the Dallas Cowboys over the next few years.
Unfortunate indeed. He's a massive weapon, and a lot of people had him touted as the top receiver in the draft, and to fall to 17 is pretty crazy, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was definitely the number one guy in that class for me. I think it went him, Ruggs or Judy, and then we'll have Jalen Rager, I think. So either way, the
You've
Eagles
just made me
got a good
so
chance.
happy, Stan. You've made
Don't
me
know
so
about that
happy.
one.
Oh, Stan, you have no idea what you've just done to Slew. Slew has been. You should have seen Slew's instant reaction when that pick came
Oh,
in
that was
on
that was
draft night.
hilarious, honestly.
The
You've
thing with
never
Jalen-
seen rage and sadness like it.
The thing with Jalen Rager is he had special teams value as well. He was one of the best punt returns in America last year.
Yeah.
There you go, Slew.
And he runs faster than his combine as well because he gained like
He was injured,
15
wasn't
pounds of muscle.
Yeah,
Well, not muscle,
I'm
but
not
he
gonna
gained
lie. I've
15
done a lot of
pounds.
reading up on him after we drafted him because I was so upset at the time, and I'm a lot more.
It's what
I'm
I
a
did
lot
with
more
Patrick
content
Queen.
with the pick now, a few days removed. But at the time, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit miffed.
Yeah, understandable, mate. So yeah, I mean, taking it back to CD Lamb because I'm not trying to sway your allegiance or put you in a dilemma here, Slew. But I'm guessing you probably would have still preferred CD Lamb rather than Jalen Rager at the end of the day.
Don't know what you're talking about, Jalen Rager. Speed.
Yeah, okay, we'll take that as a yes. Yeah, I think for the Cowboys to be able to nab him where they did was a pretty big steal for me. I think it's going to be interesting how he fits in with that team and how they get the ball in his hands, considering the other targets on that team as well. But it's one of those, I think, where if the value's right, you've got to grab it, don't you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, show. Nice. Yeah, so Stan, your biggest steal of the draft. What do you think?
AJ Epinesa, who went 54th overall to the Buffalo Bills.
Nice.
He was a guy. His combine let him down. His bench press wasn't up to par, and so he fell down draft boards. And he went 54th overall, which is absolutely scandalous, as he was a first-round talent. And his strength may not have showed up at the combine, but it shows up on tape. And his bull rush move is devastating. And he will be a day one starter for the Bills, and it will take over from where Jordan Phillips left off.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, I was really surprised as well to see him go, where he did. It was an interesting one. It does annoy me when the Bills get good players, especially pass rush players, considering how soft.
About the AFC East as if it's a relevant division.
It's a relevant division. It's extra relevant
Like,
this year as well.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't like when the Bills get good pass rushes because our O-line's always rubbish, so it makes it a bit more dangerous. And I think Epenza looked really, really good.
Why would you be worried about the Bills? They go out in the playoffs every week one of the playoffs.
Because
they
get
get to
there,
the playoffs,
Joe.
don't they?
They get to the playoffs, and that's what.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that is
you-
a big thing. In
you
the
say that
AFC
now.
East, I forgot.
You say that now until Josh Allen's heading up the Bills in the AFC Championship game in a couple of years' time.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, don't.
I'll
You've
put a
missed out
sandwich
to
on
it.
it, mate. I'll put a sandwich on it
I will happily
Oh.
do that. The Bills will make the
Boom.
Bills will go.
in a couple of years.
AFC
So 2.
Okay. What level of the playoffs are we saying?
But you said the AFC
You
Championship.
should say
game.
So
AFC
you want-
Championship game.
So
Okay.
this might be the most far in the future sandwich bet we've ever seen on this
2
show.
years.
We're
Alright.
talking
2
in
years
2
to
years'
get
time.
Josh Allen to the AFC Championship game. Put a sandwich on
Well,
it. Come on.
The Bills are building something. I'll put money. I'll put a sandwich on that. There you go.
All right.
Boom.
Boom.
You heard it
Yeah.
here first, guys. So when
To
you
be fair,
check in
Joe,
in
we've
2
still
years'
got a
time,
sandwich. We've still got a sandwich resting on who's going to be better, Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield. I've got no idea how we're going to determine that at the end of the day.
We're just gonna have to
But
look at
what
total
a
stats.
what a
and
subjective
QBR.
sandwich that is.
It was just better. So I'm not yeah, exactly. Not
Who's
sure how we're going to
better?
work that one out.
I mean, this is
Excellent.
at least specific. There's pretty clear winning and losing rules.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good sandwich bet. We'll have to wait quite a while to see how that one plays out, to be honest.
Who backed Josh
My-
Allen and who backed Baker Mayfield?
I
I
back
backed
Josh Allen.
Baker Mayfield, and I
Course,
kind
Joe
of
Fox
regret
faith.
it last season, to be honest,
He'll recover. Freddie
I
Kitchens
know.
was awful. So like,
mate. Oh,
there's hope.
It will be tight.
Yeah, I mean,
The
it adversely affects you either way, Joe. Because if
Freddie
if
Kitchens
Baker
was just
Mayfield gets better, then
heavily
it's bad for your
inexperienced.
Ravens.
yeah, Freddie Kitchens had no clue what he's doing there.
yeah, that's
True.
the problem. It's like having Bill O'Brien, but
Yeah.
just
Also bet-
just as a,
Yeah, but like Matt was saying, Joe, you've bet against yourself because if Baker Mayfield's really good, then he challenges your Ravens in the division every year.
yeah, but I don't think he'll ever be that good.
Either way, it's a win-win
just-
for you.
Yeah, you know.
You've been done, Joe, to be fair. But yeah, nice. My
What?
biggest steal, fellas, was it's Justin Jefferson, Slew. I'm sorry to
Ooh.
bring it up again in the
Ooh.
the contentious receiver question. When Jalen Rager went just before him, and then we sort of looked at it side by side, and I just think he's a much better receiver. I like that the Vikings didn't really have to move to have a top talent fall in their lap that instantly addresses the Diggs void.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Justin Jefferson was an unreal pickup for the.
Can you be a
Vikings
steal if you
there.
slip one pick though?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can be a steal. You
I
can be a
was-
steal when the team just before you should have taken him.
I don't know though, because looking into it, Justin Jefferson played a lot in the slot in college, and with Goddard and Ertz, there's not actually a whole lot of room for people to play in our slot. So we did need someone that has that sort of speed on the outside that can play there. So, yeah, maybe you could say that at this point Jefferson's a better player, but when it fits our system, I'm not as upset again as I said we were at the time that we didn't take Jefferson and let him slip all the way that one place.
Yeah, but also another thing just from that is that I didn't really have Justin Jefferson. That's about where I had him, I think. I didn't have him going sort of in that range. Obviously, I wasn't expecting the amount of receivers to come out so late on with CeeDee Lamb going so late and everything like that. But I didn't have Justin Jefferson going past, I don't know, 24.
True, but I bet you didn't have him as the fifth receiver coming off the board. I bet you had him coming off the board before Rager.
Yeah, that is
least.
true. That is true.
Not to just trash on Rager the whole time, but I just think Jefferson's production was really good, and I like the fact that he fell to the Vikings there because I think he fits perfectly with what they're after right now.
Look at if you look at Jefferson and the talent he played with, the LSU O line was unmovable that year. You have Joe Burrow, who had the best season the college quarterbacks ever had, and you got Justin Jefferson in the slot. Like he's going to get a load of targets. I think whilst he produced more numbers at college, Jalen Rager will be the better talent long term. There's my hot
I
take
think
for
Joe
you.
would have got about
Okay.
800 yards in that offense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, starting running back.
I love how you put yourself instantly in the starting position as LSU running back.
Easy
Yes.
money. Just a few others we could potentially just quickly mention is Zach
Hello.
Bourne, outside linebacker in the third round to the Saints. I think he's going to start for the Saints, to be honest. And he's another one who is sort of touted to go in the first round, falling to the third. And Bryce Hall as well, from cornerback from Virginia, going to the New York Jets.
Yeah,
There's a
I
massive
like that.
need for them.
It's
I had
the
him going
injury
in
with Bryce
maybe-
Hall, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
though?
know, but I think talent-wise, he doesn't go past the second usually in a normal draft. But obviously, with the injury, we don't know. But they're only spending a fifth-round pick on what would have been maybe the third best corner in a normal year.
Yeah, agreed. Can I also just slide in there? Grant Delpit and Christian Fulton.
I like
Grant-
Kristen Fulton as well.
Yeah, Grant Delpit was named the best DB in America according to the Jim Thorpe Award voters last year, and he slipped to 44th when everyone had him as a first-round talent. That for me is an absolute steal.
Yeah, I think with Delpit, it depends what season of Delpit you're getting. Because as a sophomore, he was really good, and then as a junior, he obviously had some issues in the tackling aspect of the game. But I think that wasn't really an issue in his sophomore season. So it's almost like as he was asked to do, I guess, more.
And if you're on that Grant Delpit, you could also throw Winfield Jr. in there as well, who's taken around the
absolutely.
same time. And you could actually pick later, and you could argue he actually played better at safety in the last year both of them played, and he maybe should have won the Thorpe Award, but it's a different discussion for another time.
And in a pass-first league, having safeties going that late, like top-class safeties in the country, I think it's ridiculous.
Talent slipping, some good pickups there.
Agreed.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to the flip side of this discussion and look at the highest reaches and who went maybe a bit earlier than they should have done. Who wants to open this one up?
I'll go for this.
Go on, Seth.
Hate to do this, Matt, but I disagree with the Dolphins' Austin Jackson and Noah Igbenogany, if I said that right.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I've looked up how to pronounce this, so I'm pretty sure I've nailed it. But yeah,
I do
Austin
that with a few
Jackson.
players.
Yeah, Austin Jackson, left tackle at USC. Of course, like the big thing that stands out about him is his 40-yard dash time. He ran at 5:07 unofficial. He's 6'5", 225 pounds, and he's very strong. But he lacks finesse. He lacks the pass blocking skills that you'd expect from an NFL left tackle, especially as they may be starting year one.
Yeah.
So he's a bit more of a project player for me, and they could have waited to take him, seeing as the next tackle to come off the board was in round 2, pick 7. So bit of a reach for me. And then moving on to Igbenogany, that confused me. Like, yeah, nailed it again. They've just paid Xavier Howard. They've just paid Byron Jones, and now you're taking another round 1 corner who wasn't a round 1 corner.
Yeah, I think with that as well, it only really makes sense if they're going to play the nickel the whole year. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Which they might do. I don't know, but it just seems unlikely. And taking a first round pick investing in. Well, I thought I'm not even going to attempt the name Igbenogany.
There you go.
Nice. Everyone's
Nailed it.
smashing it today.
Yeah, smashed it. I think he's potentially worth the late first round pick if he went to another team, but it doesn't really make sense as much for the Finns to take him.
But Christian Fulton's there. If you're going to take
Yeah,
a
I
corner,
know.
go Christian Fulton.
But I think they want
Yeah.
specifically a nickel corner.
Yeah, this is the thing, and I completely understand. And I came a little bit prepared because I was sort of expecting at least some of the Dolphins picks to be targeted by my
Hate
peers.
to do that to you, Matt.
So yeah, with the Austin Jackson one, I agree. I think a lot of what people have been saying about him, he is quite raw, and he is going to have to very quickly learn on his feet. I think it's one of those where he's got a low ceiling but a really high floor. I mean, other way around. A low floor but a really high ceiling. And you've just got to bank on it. I think you just got to hope. And with the Igbenogany one, I think we are going to play a lot of nickel. I know Brian Flores loves his man defense, and he loves playing nickel sets in particular. And it is a pass first league. I know that's a bit of a cliche excuse for your team taking a defensive back super early, but yeah, he looks like could be a bit of an athlete. But again, yeah, potentially could have got him later. Maybe both players we could have got later. I see the argument.
The thing with Jackson as well is not only going to have to train him up to play tackle in the pros. Well, not only that, is he going to have to flip sides to defend the blind side? He's going to be with a left-handed quarterback now, so he's going to have to flip everything he does. So I don't know if it's therefore a benefit that he's quite raw, that you can train him the way you want to. He doesn't have to forget as much, but it seems strange to, in the first round to pick someone that needs to start and then needs to get to the level that he's able to start with an injury-prone quarterback.
Yeah, he's a sort of a prototypical pick, and to take him that early on means he has to start. And obviously, with that added pressure, with quite a weak offensive line unit as it was last year, it's a lot of pressure on a young player. But I mean, we don't know how it will turn out. He might shine in the new role if he has to move over to a right tackle or whatever.
He's got a year to learn, though.
Yeah. And
he's got a year to learn because Tua won't start this year, and if all goes to plan, he shouldn't see a single snap. And I imagine they'll keep him at left tackle, depending on.
It's sad to not see a single snap though, from like a 18th overall selection.
Oh no, I mean Tua. I mean Tua.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if Austin Jackson ends up crippling Ryan Fitzpatrick, not the end of the world. His hips aren't made of plastic. So
sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I love Ryan Fitzpatrick a lot, but at the end of the day...
Just not enough to care if he gets crippled.
No, I'm honestly fully onto it. If one of them's going to get crippled, I'd honestly rather it be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Man
I want none
who
of them to be
he beat the Patriots.
What about Fitzmagic?
He also lost quite a few games. I do love Fitzmagic, but I mean, you're right. The plan is that Austin Jackson and Hun, who we also took on the O-line, can learn with a veteran like Fitzmagic behind them, so hopefully that'll be a benefit as well. And also, if there is a bit of a steep learning curve, let's say, then it's not the end of the world because it's not your franchise quarterback that's eating grass for the whole season. So yeah, I do understand it, but I don't know. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see.
You're so flustered, Matt.
I'm flustered. I mean, we've got a franchise quarterback for the first time in fucking ages, and even the thought of him. Even the thought of him getting dismantled is painful for me. So yeah, let's move on. Otherwise, I'll get too sad. Sloot, who was your biggest reach?
My biggest reach was Jalen Hurts in the second round to the Eagles, which I don't get it. Like even if he takes up a Taysom Hill role, or Lamar Jackson in his rookie year where he comes in for gadget plays.
Just not as good.
That seems a little bit high to spend a second-round pick that's not going to be on the field the majority of the time. And if he's the backup quarterback, again, you're taking a second-round pick when we do need more weapons on offense and we need cornerbacks to not get burnt deep the entire year again. Maybe it works, maybe he scores, but how many touchdowns does he need to score this year for it to be worth a second-round pick if he's not going to be on the field the whole time? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
For sure. I actually had him as an answer for a future part of the podcast. But it's exactly like you said. I think that Philadelphia took him in the second round, despite Denzel Mims and Christian Fulton both being available, which both suited a position of need. And you could have done with taking 2 receivers back to back, to be honest. I don't think it says that you have a lot of faith in Carson Wentz unless you're just going to be doing like gadget plays the whole time to get him reps or whatever.
For a second round pick, though, yeah, if it's a gadget guy for a second round pick, it's not worth it at all.
No, I mean, you guys are a lot better at free agency, it seems, usually, than drafting.
Yeah. Harry Roseman,
he
he justified it by saying that the Eagles are they're a quarterback factory. That's pretty much all he said.
But we're not, though. If you look at the quarterbacks
Exactly.
we've had, we haven't developed any of them.
Is that what you want to be
Clayton
as well?
Thornton
by
and
the
whoever
way?
the
Yeah, what about Nate Sudfeld? He's great.
Nate Sudfeld, he's been there 3 years. He doesn't look any near a starter. We've hardly
Exactly,
made him
yeah.
into
Hey,
a pro football
It's
ready player.
ridiculous.
hey, but
And
Nick
then we've
Foles
had-
is good only when he's playing for you.
And only in the
In that one
playoffs.
game.
Yeah,
Well, he's had about 3 or 4 good games. Let's not sell him too
it's like
short.
Joe Flacco.
But I mean,
And then-
I think trying to describe yourself as a quarterback factory as well is actually a bit of an indictment because surely what you want is to have one quarterback for ages, right? Not just having to be wheeling out these sort of half-ready, okay-ish quarterbacks.
I know.
I think they mean they're going to try and like train him up and then just ship him out for picks or something. But
It did seem
What are you
like
gonna
that.
do?
I don't
understand
know,
why
maybe.
you're not going to get second back, are you? Like, what are you
But
going to do?
even
You
if
can
we
spend
get
a second.
even if we get a second back for him, then how is that a win? That's just
Exactly.
retaining your losses.
You either trade him for a
Trade
first
£5,
or you've lost.
£5.
To be honest,
Yeah.
you just made a lot of questionable decisions.
Mm.
I mean,
Jo-
Rager, I've kind of learnt to like a little bit since after looking into him a lot more than I initially did. But I just don't get it.
Prince Tega Wanogo, the tackle out of Auburn in the
Yeah.
6th, that could end up being a steal because he again is a raw prospect, similar to Austin Jackson. With training, he could be good, but who's to know?
Again, similar to Austin Jackson, who was a first-round pick. If you can take a raw in the 6th round, it's a little bit different. It's not as much risk there.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go, Slew. Reasons to be cheerful a little bit there.
Yeah,
but-
we got a really good 6th-round pick. I'm delighted.
exactly. Well,
Except-
maybe
Except you don't know if
Maybe-
he's actually really good or not.
No, we have the potential of a really good 6th-round
Good
pick,
upside.
but
good upside in the 6th. That's what you want.
Exactly, yeah.
Boom. Okay, yeah. Well, I agree with you there with the Jalen Hurts pick, Slew. Bit of a strange one, Joey.
I've got
What are you
Damon
thinking?
Arnett taken at 19th for the Raiders.
Yes.
Ooh.
I do
I
like
agree.
Damon Arnett. Just to preface this, I like him as a player, and I think he plays pretty hard. You know, he's not.
He's a Mayock guy.
Yeah, he
Good
tackles
character.
well for a corner, and he's decent. He's decent in coverage, but I just thought with the value here, you could have got him so much later. And apparently, the Raiders were trying to trade down this pick, is what I've been hearing.
oh, don't tell me that because then we could have got CD Lamb. I'm not having that. They weren't trying to trade down. It's all lies.
At 19,
I like to think that people
You
just
couldn't
like
have got-
that.
you
Let
couldn't
the
have
Raiders
got
do
CeeDee
some
Oh,
Lamb
was
at
it 19? I
19.
thought it was the other one. Never mind then.
No.
I feel better about it now.
Incorrect, sir. No,
He's
but-
a good corner. He's a good corner.
yeah, I like him, but I just think they could have got a much. Well, I mean, you
It seems
could
to
have
have
got
learned
Christian
this about
Fulton.
Mike Mayock as a GM, though, that he doesn't really care about where players are projected to go. When he
Yeah,
took
this
Fallon
is some-
Farrell last year,
That's
at
why I
three
like
overall.
him. That's why I like him. He's not, obviously he used to be a draft analyst, and the draft picks that he's made the past few years, like apart from Arden Key, I've pretty much agreed with in terms of the value he's got.
He's not turned out to be like an absolute stormer though. I think I can't remember, but their
Yet.
safety from last year was all right until he got injured. Not like for a 6th overall pick, Pharrell has done anything.
He's a rookie. Like,
Yeah.
let's give him a bit of chance. He's had 16 games in the NFL.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but
they also could have had
but-
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
But yeah, I was a bit confused with the Arnett pick as well, Joe. Like, I mean, I know mock drafts aren't the be all and end all, but I don't think I saw a single quote unquote expert have him anywhere near the first round. It was a bit.
I'm not
of
saying
a-
he won't be a good player though. I think he will be a
Hmm.
good player, but I just think you probably could have
value,
got
isn't
him
it?
the same sort of time period in the 2nd round.
Yeah, you could use the same argument with Daniel Jones last year, though. If you've got your guy that you want
Yeah.
and you don't want anyone else to have him, then surely that's worth it for you as a team. This is just an
Yeah.
interesting thing to think about because we might come back to this in like 2 or 3 years' time, where like as Damon Arnett's like named to his 3rd consecutive Pro Bowl, and just think, wow, we should have seen this. But Yeah.
We'll all have to apologise to Mike.
Yeah,
Mayock,
maybe we should
I
take a
think.
new attitude of just bigging up everyone that we think everyone else is calling a reach, just so we say like, all right, we believed in you from day one. Come on our podcast.
Yeah.
That's why I'm being
Get those-
very neutral. You know.
Well, my biggest reach was, I mean, I know you said Slew. You know, why are we taking a backup quarterback?
I
in
hope
the
I'm wrong. I
second
hope
round?
Jalen Hurts is the future of the NFL, and that's
Yeah,
a
but,
tactic that all
I mean,
teams take. But
What I'm saying, mate, is it could have been worse. You could have taken a backup quarterback in the first round and actually traded up to get him. And I'm talking, of course, about the Jordan Love picks to Packers, which I just thought was absolutely rubbish.
are we getting to this now then? Because I've got him under
Yeah.
my worst fits that we're getting onto later.
Oh, I had Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts under my worst fits, so we'll get into
I think
it
it's
now.
I think it's a great fit. It's a great fit for Jordan Love as a quarterback. But as the team, the Green Bay Packers, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I
But
just,
also,
I
it's
just thought
like
it
they're
was so
saying
weird.
that Aaron Rodgers is there for 4 more years under contract. Are they saying that they don't
They're
believe there'll be
going to
another
trade him.
quarterback that good in the next 4 drafts that they
Exactly,
can get?
and
what
then-
I mean.
That leaves you with Jordan Love as your starter on, and he's got 1 year in his contract. So if he's great anyway, then you're gonna have to immediately pay him.
I think they're going to
So, I
sit.
mean-
They're going to sit him behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 years, then trade Aaron Rodgers. Is what they're going to do. To be fair, Aaron Rodgers is regressing, but I don't think he'll
Wow, I
regress.
mean, I'd try
as
saying
much.
telling that to the Packers. to
So
the
Aaron
Packers fan
Rodgers is
base, mate.
regressing.
You say
Are you,
regressing.
are you getting
He had
are you getting ahead
4
of the
interceptions last
Brady
year.
off a cliff thing, Joe? Are you going to be the Aaron Rodgers guy?
I don't mind saying it. I personally, obviously, he's still great, but you haven't really solved any of the issues that you had, any of the needs that you had. I also had him marked down in my worst team fits as well, for that very reason. They've not addressed
Yeah.
anything.
I felt
Like,
very sorry for Aaron Rodgers when that pick came in because you're seeing other teams picking up weapons for veteran quarterbacks, and then Aaron Rodgers with plenty of playmakers still on the board sees Jordan Love fly off. And not only that, they traded up with my Miami Dolphins to take him as well. And I think that was irrelevant as well. No one, I don't think anyone else in those positions wanted Jordan Love. I don't feel they needed to trade up and get him. It just seemed
Apparently, the Colts
bizarre.
are sniffing around, but
No, the
no
Colts
truth
can
to
sniff
those
around if they
rumours.
want. It just seems bizarre to me. I think, like you said, Stan. I think it's a great. If you're Jordan Love, then you're ecstatic because you've got an easy way into the NFL in terms of there's nothing expected of him straight away at all, and he can learn behind Aaron Rodgers. How much Aaron Rodgers wants to teach him is another
Yeah,
question.
that's another thing.
But he can
I
learn
think
in
he'll
that
do quite a
situation.
lot.
He's been there before
Really?
himself though, with
Yeah, that's the thing.
Brett Favre.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he
true.
has come out and said he doesn't want anyone else to be treated like how he was. And people like Deshaun Kaiser and other quarterbacks, and Matt Flynn, who were under Aaron Rodgers, have done nothing but say great things about what he was like as just a leader and a teacher. He's not going to go out of his way, but he's not going to shun the kid either.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think it's always a little bit awkward when you have the situation of, especially quarterbacks who are at the top of their game. I'm not talking about people in the very twilight years of their career and who are regressing, as Joe said. I mean, if four interceptions in an entire season is regressing, Joe, then bloody hell, I don't know what you expect of Lamar Jackson. But yeah, I think it's different when it's a situation like Rodgers or Favre where they're still really, really good. It's not the case of it's like a Ryan Fitzpatrick where he knows he's going to probably retire next year or something, and he knows he's not an elite quarterback. Like Rodgers is still an ultimate competitor. He's still at the top of his game, I'd argue. It must be quite frustrating when there's the opportunity to help him enhance his performance, but rather than that, they take the heir apparent.
Yeah.
Well, Favre was hinting at retirement when Rodgers was drafted, and Rodgers was an elite talent that had dropped a long way. So there's a bit of a difference there. Rodgers has come out and said he wants to play for another 10 years.
Another 10.
And he
yeah.
wants to play in
Yeah,
Green
but
Bay for all of
every
that.
That's
quarterback,
ridiculous.
every quarterback wants to play until they're 57. It doesn't mean
Well,
they
Favre
actually
didn't.
will.
Favre was hinting at retirement when they picked Rodgers. I think that's the
Ben
difference.
Roethlisberger flirts with retirement every offseason. But yeah, Love for me was a bit of a strange one. I didn't think that made a ton of sense, and I think that more to the point of this particular reach category, I think they could have got him later as well.
Yeah, it's like it's just giving up on Aaron Rodgers essentially, isn't it? It's like saying, we know you're still a great quarterback. You're just coming off a 13-3 season, but we're going to find your replacement.
Yeah.
Also, look at how that
Nice.
season ended. Look at how the season ended with them getting absolutely smacked by the Niners. Yeah, they got to the NFC playoff game, but the fact is they were gashed by the run all year long, and there was an elite linebacker on the board at the same time.
And
Yeah.
AJ Epinesa.
And
Yeah,
and AJ
yeah,
Epinesa.
Exactly.
If you
Yeah,
got Patrick
that's
Queen
true.
or Epinesa, you may have even been able
Yeah.
to get one if you traded up in the second round instead of the first.
Yeah,
getting both.
Yeah.
it was just it was a bit of a bonkers one for me. But yeah, sorry Packers fans. Right, we'll move on to best team / scheme fits as well, and I like the alliteration on that one as well. Good job, Slew. We'll go with who wants to go first? Who's got a name that's got to come out?
I've got one that I'd like to say.
Go
for it.
Clyde
Go for it,
Edwards-Helaire, running back, first
Ooh,
round
love
for the
that.
Chiefs. He's great at catching out the back. I think he's not necessarily the best running back in the draft, although I
Oh,
actually.
he is.
Well, this is the thing. So, like,
Ooh.
The thing
I
is,
think
I
there's
don't
an
think he's the
argument
best,
to
but
have.
Stan just
He's
said he
an
was, so
argument
I do.
Shut up.
No, I have joint
DeAndre
first with
Swift.
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre
Joint
Swift is
first.
pretty good. It's basically a pick 'em between them two, and I think what you get with Edwards-Helaire is a lot better, just specifically for the Chiefs, because he's great at catching out of the backfield. He's got amazing vision, lateral quickness. He kind of plays like that sort of Lev Bell, sort of pause behind the line, wait for him to open up and just pick a hole, one cut, go. His vision, like I may have already just mentioned, is just amazing. I think he ran a relatively slow combine speed, but he plays a lot faster, especially at making the cut anyway.
Mhm.
And I think he's going to be really good for the Chiefs. To be honest, I think the Chiefs have got a lot better. I think they were good anyway with Damian Williams there, but with Edwards-Helaire, they're going to be crazy good next year.
His elusiveness is absolutely off the chart. I love him as a runner, and yeah, he's for me. Him and DeAndre Swift were both tied at running back number one. But another thing that stands out about this guy is he fights for the yards every time. His legs never stop going, and he just seems like he's going to slide right into that Chiefs offense and elevate them from day one.
Yeah, got big old
Yeah,
thumbs,
and
doesn't he?
Andy Reid's already come out and said that he's better than Brian Westbrook, and we already know how dangerous he was in the Andy Reid offense with the Eagles. So he's going to be a Pro Bowler for the next 5 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah. He's going to
Good,
be sick.
good fit, good team fit by the sounds of it. Boom.
And that's why I wanted to say him first.
Yeah.
I actually quite like the pick because of how late they got him, and there's going to be no pressure for him to start. I like Jacob Eason going to the Colts.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
He-
Okay. I can see that.
The issue with him was, well, so he wasn't. He's got a big arm and he can hit throws, but he's not polished in any way. He's not going to play at all next year because they've got Philip Rivers there. They've got
Rivers,
Jacoby
man.
Brissett, who'd probably be ahead of him on the depth chart going in if Philip Rivers does go down. But the fact is, as well, he had a horrible O-line when he was at Washington, and he hasn't really consistently played for long periods of time. He got injured at Georgia, had to transfer, so took a year out. So he's played 2 separate years, hasn't been able to really develop. I think the Colts, what they are good at is developing young talent. And with the O-line that they do have there, I think he could actually thrive, and there's a good chance that he could be one of the better quarterbacks to come out of this draft because of where he's landed.
that's interesting. That's interesting. What puts me off about Easton is that he had a whole year at Washington between his transferring from Georgia to Washington.
Yeah.
He had a whole year to learn the offense, refine his craft, and get better.
And he didn't.
And I just feel he completely wasted that year of his life. You see the effort and the work that Joe Burrow put in one off season compared to Jacob Eason in a whole entire year.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't think he has the same drive and desire to get better.
No, that's fair enough. I
You're
think
coming in hot, Stan.
Yeah, I just
I know.
I
Well,
don't like
maybe
it.
maybe River. If someone's got drive and desire and a bit of fire, then it's probably going to be Philip Rivers. He's already said he's going to come in and quote work his nuts off. Which
Yeah, that's how
I
I
don't
would
think
say
I've heard
it
from
He's
an
already
teen
done
NFL
kids,
prospect
mate.
before.
Yeah.
He's
So-
already done that. Yeah.
He's already no. Jacob Eason said that. And Philip
Jacob
Rivers' nuts
Eason,
are probably gone by this point.
Yeah,
but-
they're pretty empty.
Retired.
They're retired early.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're right though. It's an immaturity issue, and if he does put the work in there is no reason. The natural talent's there, and if he does learn from those who are ahead of him, then there's no reason he couldn't be behind Tua and Burrow as the best ones to come out of this draft.
Ooh.
Nice. Very nice. Okie dokie. Cool. Stan,
Fair play.
who have you got? Who have you got?
Cam Akers, running back out of FSU, who went 52nd overall to the Rams.
Nice.
He was one of my favourite running backs in this class. His tape doesn't jump off as being like phenomenal on the same levels as Edwards-Helaire and DeAndre Swift because of the fact his offense was absolutely awful at college. Like the head coach just got fired for context, and the O-line was just rubbish. He is a natural receiver at the backfield, so he's an every down back. He's explosive, powerful, athletic, elusive, and he's got the same ability that Edward Elo has to be able to just bounce outside the tackles, and he shrugs off tackles like it's nothing. So he's a bit under the radar in terms of his college tape because he doesn't jump off as being outstanding, but that was partly to do with the scheme. So remember that name, and he'll be RB1 come this year for the Rams.
Yeah, it's a good fit as well with obviously the Rams desperately needing a running back after the Gurley fiasco. So yeah, I can see that one potentially working out quite nicely as well.
Hopefully they don't pay him 20 million in a year and then he gets injured.
And then he's got no knees left. Yeah, cool. I like that one. My one was, and I was raving a little bit about him pre-draft, was T. Higgins to the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
I really, really liked this one because you're straight away you're giving Joe Burrow a great weapon on the outside to go alongside Tyler Boyd and AJ Green. Higgins himself said how much of a massive AJ Green fan he's been. So he's had this sort of pre-draft, and he gets to spend a year at least learning under Green, which is a great fit. And I just think that he straight away. I was thinking this the other day, like how much more watchable are the Bengals going to be this season than they have been in like the last 5 years. Sorry to any Bengals fans that are listening, but it's been a little bit. They've been a bit devoid of spark on offense. I think it's fair to say for a while now. And you get the new franchise QB, and you straight away give him a big old weapon to play with as well. I think that was a great fit.
The only thing I'd say there is that you potentially could have invested into a pretty good O-lineman at the top of the second round as well, but they did address it later on in the draft. But I think T. Higgins is a really good spot. I really like T. Higgins, as we'd spoken about earlier.
Well, they've got Jonah Williams, don't they, on the O-line? He's coming back from injury. He was there first.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
So they basically do have another fantastic talent on the O-line that we're going to get to see for the first time next season as well.
Yeah.
True, that was unfortunate. I completely forgot.
And then watch them take Justin Ross next year or Jamar Chase just to go alongside him and have an absolute mental.
You're trusting the Bengals to be a consistently.
Because they're not going to get AJ Green back. He'll play this year and then he'll be gone.
Yeah, but you're also trusting them to make sound business choices.
They did it twice this year.
Yeah, well, they had the top pick. It's pretty hard.
Hey, we've seen plenty of times the top picks. You think it's a sure thing and it's not. So yeah, I think those are some pretty good team scheme fits there. To be fair, let's move on to again the opposite, who was a bit of a weird one when it comes to team and scheme.
There's only one answer for this.
Go on.
Cole Kmet to the Bears.
Yes.
Their 10th tight end. They've just paid Jimmy Graham $9 million, and you're taking a 10th tight end.
I hope they line up with all of them.
I do want to see a set that Matt Nagy puts together where it's just 10. If one fucking O lineman and then just 10.
And then whoever doesn't
ends.
lose
that would actually be
your fault.
It's like a game of who's the eligible receiver.
I think, but to be honest, with that pick, one thing is that the Jimmy Graham is not that good a tight end anymore as he once was, and the depth.
But then don't pay him the money then.
You've got 10 other tight ends.
I know they've got 10 tight ends, but they're not 10 great tight ends, are they? There's Jimmy Graham and a bunch of other blokes who what is the next one? Sheehan, who hasn't really progressed at all.
Can I preface this by also saying, didn't they get rid of Trey Burton this offseason? Who again, you'd say
they almost had 11, the perfect lineup.
Exactly.
But Trey Burton's probably better than Jimmy Graham at this point.
Cost a lot more,
type, doesn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, but that's the one thing I would mention.
But I completely agree with you, Stan. I thought that was absolutely bonkers.
It's crazy. Even if you don't like Jimmy Graham, you've got Demetrius Harris, you've got Shaheen and Braunecker.
But they're not that good.
Surely one's got to develop though. If you've got 10 tight ends, the likelihood is
get rid of the other
one of them's going to be able to catch the damn ball, Joe. Surely you don't need to go and find another one.
But then they're not. They're really not gonna. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be able to catch the ball just because you got loads of them. I could go
how
down.
many tight ends do you reckon they'll keep?
I imagine
3.
a normal number, 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
This is mad.
Maybe one as a long snapper or something. Potentially.
Yeah.
Which I think I don't know, but potentially there is a long snapper on that list of 10 tight ends.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
there must be.
There must be. Like, I could be pulling that
They
completely out of
all
my
are.
arse,
They get a
but-
long snap about 50 yards back, and then Trubisky's just gonna bomb it straight into the air.
Well, yeah, completely agree with that one, Stan. Joey, who are you thinking?
So for worst team fit, I originally had both Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts down, but I come prepared nowadays. So I've got a
You
third.
knew they were
one.
getting targeted. Nice.
Nice. So the Seahawks not addressing their biggest weakness, which is offensive line, once again in
always
the
is.
first round of the draft, and selecting a prototypical linebacker in Jordan Brooks, while Patrick Queen was still available, despite having Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright, pick number 27, I think. It was just before us, I believe. And it is.
Seahawks love doing weird things in the
But
first
I
round.
don't
They
get it. Like
I was
you
gonna
have
say, it's
Bobby
almost
Wagner, you have
like-
KJ Wright, you
yeah.
have capable linebackers.
Do you remember when they
That's
picked
not
Rashad
a
Penny in the
position of
first round?
But why? This is what I mean.
Yeah.
They just need to pick offensive linemen.
They
Why are
do some
you
goofy
just?
things
Why are
in the
you doing
first.
this to Russell Wilson? You're making him run around and be just avoid sacks all the time. Imagine how good
Yeah.
he'd
More
be if he had a
marketable when he's
capable
dynamic and running around.
offensive line.
Yeah.
God, it sucks. I
Do you
would,
reckon
I
they
would-
just sit down with Russell every offseason? It's like, how did you feel that season? Did a lot of running. Do you want to do it again? No. Well, you're gonna have
Well,
to.
do you?
So really
Yeah.
like this linebacker.
But I think
Yeah.
that it's a pretty conclusive thing to me. I don't understand what they did, like why they made that decision. There's so many capable offensive line prospects they could have taken with that pick, or moved down and still taken really good pick in the top of the second round as well. Like,
Yeah, it's a bit
honestly,
ridiculous.
It
They need to
really
protect him.
like it's what all the bandwagon Seahawks fans have probably jumped off the boat by this point. To be honest.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, they probably jumped off the boat as soon as that Russell Wilson pass went to Malcolm Butler. To be honest, Joey. But
Yeah.
yeah, I see what you mean. It was a bit of. I mean, they've got to absolutely love Jordan Brooks, right? Sure, like that's the only way you can really justify it.
But is he going to start next year? Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe
they run-
Bobby
they run a
Wagner's coming to
4-3.
the end of his career.
But Bobby
They run a
Wagner's
4-3.
really
There is
good.
a spare linebacker spot. There is a spare linebacker spot
Yeah,
there
but
on the
yeah.
defense. So
Bobby Wagner is really good, and I think taking a substitute linebacker in the first round doesn't really make any sense. And
it's not. It won't be a sub.
Yeah,
won't be a
yeah,
sub.
okay, but he's not going to be the top inside linebacker because Bobby Wagner's there. That's what I mean. I mean, if
It's
you
50 out.
really want him out of linebacker, okay, cool. But you just have so many more. Like the Seahawks as an organization needed offensive linemen, and they needed offensive linemen in the first round of the last
Or a pass
few
rusher.
drafts. Yeah,
They could have taken Stan's favourite player to replace Jadeveon Clowney.
true. Anyway,
That is
yeah,
true.
that's me. Rage over.
Yeah, that was definitely a bit of a head scratcher. Sluey, what have you got for me?
Well, yeah, I originally gone with the Packers' first round pick, Jordan Love, but instead I'm going to go for the Packers' second round pick, A.J. Dillon.
Nice.
Yeah,
No love the Packers.
Nice.
nice. It's
No.
very true.
It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense
agreed.
what they've done. They've picked someone that's probably going to be the third back and will just be a short yardage power back in a second with their second round pick. A.J. Dillon, yeah, he put
Yeah.
up big numbers at college, but he's not got that home run speed. He's not going to make a man miss. He'll just get you those 2 yards you need if it's 3rd and 2. I don't understand the thinking behind this. You could have taken a linebacker, which they need. You could have taken a D lineman. You could have taken a receiver. You could have taken Denzel Mims. It's just a bit
Weird.
of a mad one that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. He's not as good as Jamal Williams. He's definitely not as good as Aaron Jones. I don't know what he adds to the system. He doesn't even play the sort of more speedy, elusive back they want in that outside zone system. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm.
No, I agree with you there.
Yeah, I have
I-
to say I agree as well.
I would also
Joe.
massively agree with that. I think you could have got better value for running back. Also, your best quarterback, your best two positions last year were quarterback and running back.
Yeah.
Or you could have taken a
That's
wide
the-
receiver for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
I
an
mean,
lineman to
I-
replace their right tackle that they lost in the off season.
What Balaga? Yeah, exactly.
Josh
I mean,
Jones.
what is it
What-
with the Packers
what are
and
the
just
Packers
like,
thinking?
we were really good at QB and running back last season. They're really good positions, right? Let's just go with them again in the first and
it's
second.
like we made it to the
first-
NFC Championship. We only need a few
Yeah.
more pieces to win a Super Bowl. let's ignore them all and invest in the future.
Exactly. I mean, the way I see it, like first and second rounds, you're looking for an instant impact player at a position of need. So someone who's probably going to go straight into your starting lineup,
Yep.
or failing that is going to be like the guy for the next few years, like a quarterback of the future sort of thing. But
Well, they've obviously picked that. They obviously think Jordan Love is that, which is like as much.
Yeah, but they're wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if they think he's the guy, fair enough. But it's just for your two first picks of the entire draft, you haven't addressed any of your positions of need.
Yeah, you've got to address a need, man. You've got to address a need.
The running back pick would have made sense to me, say, if DeAndre Swift had fallen that far, and he's such a talent that's reaching you at a point where he shouldn't be at, like what the Cowboys did with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's someone that's not an elite talent, and you're pretty sorted at that position, doesn't make sense to me. But hey, that's why we're not making the big bucks as Packers GM.
Yeah,
exactly. That is true, Skis.
Yeah.
My worst team scheme fit. There was a couple that I was toying with. I didn't like Derek Brown to the Panthers. I think that they got Gary Gates to run, but they also need to stop the pass, and he offers nothing as a pass rusher. But the main one that I went for was Jake Froome to the Bills as the backup QB there. And it sort of stems from the fact that I've never thought Jake Fromm is anything special at all. He strikes me as a very average quarterback, and for me, you've got Josh Allen, who's like ultra mobile, massive arm on him, like he's a bit of a live wire in that respect, and he's going to make plays with his leg. I don't think you're going to get that from Jake Fromm in any way, shape, or form. He hasn't got anywhere near the sort of athleticism that the Bills' offense is now built around, that like Josh Allen possesses. And he just seems like he's never going to be better than a backup, especially in that system. It didn't make a lot of sense for me, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
agree
he
with
is
you
a
there.
backup, in that system, it doesn't make sense because they're going to have to change the whole offense if Josh Allen does go down. Because, like you said, he
Exactly.
doesn't fit the same skill set that Josh Allen brought.
Yeah, no,
So-
I completely agree.
Yeah,
Weird.
I think we're all in consensus there. He'll
Yeah,
be a good backup quarterback. I'm just not sure whether Buffalo's to fit for him.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I could see him being a decent pocket passer. Just making just throwing sort of QB. He's not going to make any plays with his legs, but it seems like that scheme in Buffalo is all about a quarterback who's movable and can scramble, and that ain't him.
Yeah.
That ain't him. I don't think.
And
I thought the Patriots would take him.
Yeah, that
Potentially.
wouldn't have surprised me. That he seems more like a sort of the Patriots would look for in a quarterback than what the Bills would at this
But then
moment.
again,
in
if
time.
he was Patriots, is even that much better than Jarrett Stidham or Brian
Yeah.
Hoyer,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
It's
that's-
the same
that's
sort
true.
of player, really. So
Patriots
it's a bit of a-
brass are really hot on
He's
Jarrett
better than
Stidham.
Stidham. He's definitely better than Stidham.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Stidham's been with the Patriots for a year at this point. He
Yeah, he's had
knows-
some time now, hasn't he?
I reckon
I mean,
at
they've
this
got the-
point,
Didn't they sign
know what
Cam
they have
Newton?
with- What?
They signed Cam Newton, didn't they?
No.
Or have I seen some dodgy meme on Instagram?
You definitely have seen some dodgy.
Yeah, no, I've been played. I've been played. No, they didn't.
I was gonna say, honestly, it
I
almost
think
gave me a
that
heart
probably
attack
I
was
because I
just
feel like that.
I googled the shit
I've
out of
been
that so
played.
quick. There's no
Almost breaking
chance.
ridiculous news on the Drop Back
Yeah.
podcast.
Also,
well, I'm really glad they
breaking
haven't.
that
'Cause
on
would
minute
really...
50 of the podcast, not leading with the fact
God.
that Cam Newton's gone to the Patriots.
Yeah. Well,
That's the way to make my
well,
debut, eh?
yeah, nice,
Uh,
nice, Dad. Just give me a heart attack as well, because otherwise that would really make things interesting in the AFC East. But yeah, phew. Right. Okay, moving on. We'll finish with most improved team overall. So who got better the most over the duration of the draft? Who wants first stab at this one?
I mean,
I'll take a hack at this.
go ahead.
Go on,
All right,
Sonny.
okay. Arizona Cardinals, call me biased, but Isaiah
Boom.
Simmons, Josh Jones, Eno Benjamin, and the rest of those, the defensive tackles, Lecky Fotu and Rashard Lawrence, all great picks. And then a bit of a sleeper, 6th round, we picked up Evan Weaver out of Cal, who I think
Mhm.
broke the Pac-12 record for solo tackles last season. He led both combined tackles and solo tackles, and so that's something about his play style and his range as a linebacker. So
Nice.
overall, we've covered our need at tackle, offensive tackle. We've covered our need at defensive tackle, and then we just picked up the most versatile defensive player in NFL history.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say with the Simmons pick initially, I was like, he's super talented, but I mean, as you said at the time as well, Stan, it's a position where you've come back to a lot for a linebacker, didn't you?
Yeah,
Sort of linebacker / safety. So it's one of those where I was like, yeah, he's fantastic talent, but is it a need? But then I think the way that the Cards then went about addressing all of the standout needs afterwards was really, really good. Especially Josh Jones was a great pickup.
Yeah, admittedly, I would have loved to have Jedrick Wills as well. Like, he would have been a good alternate pick, but the fact that we were able to pick up Josh Jones, address the need at tackle, and whilst getting the best player available at 8, I think Steve Keim absolutely nailed it.
Nice. Okay, cool. That's off to a pretty good start. Joe, what are you thinking?
I'm also going to be biased, to be honest. And this time,
Shock.
I know you're going to say shock, but I mean, we had a good draft. It's pretty evident. We addressed every single sort of position of need that we'd have going into the draft.
You didn't have a lot of needs, to be honest. You're pretty
Inside
stacked roster going in as
linebacker,
well.
we had a position of need. We've got two. We had literally no depth at linebacker anymore. It's just LJ Fort. We've got Patrick Queen, who's obviously a really good coverage linebacker. He has the big knock on him coming into the draft was the lack of experience, but I think where we got him 28, when you actually see him play, and obviously I didn't do it. I was really sat on us getting Kenneth Murray, and I didn't really give Patrick Queen the right thought at the time. But I went back and I looked at some of his stuff, especially later on into last season, as the LSU got towards the national championships. He got better as he played. I mean, he's only started, I think it was 11 games last season, and the year before it was something like 3 or 4. But he's really good in coverage. He's an explosive guy. So as soon he chooses a direction, he goes for it. He changes speed really quickly. Ran off low 4.5s in the combine. And crazy stat, in every game he's ever started, he's never allowed a run after catch or run after contact of over 20 yards. Because
over 20 yards.
Yes. So he
could touch someone, they run for 20 yards, and then someone else tackles him.
No, I'm saying while he's been playing on the field, there's not been run after contact.
The longest play has been
only once. Sorry. So he's allowed it one time. Anyway, and we paired him with Malik Harrison, where some of the pre-draft analysis weaknesses on Patrick Queen were his lack of ability to sort of get off blocks, whereas Malik Harrison is really good at getting off blocks. So we basically just paired a nice 3-4 linebacker combo right there. I think we addressed receiver with Devin Duvernay out of Texas.
Good name.
And in the third round,
when Joe says it like that,
as well as James Proche out of SMU, two receivers who had over 100 catch seasons last year. I think we get some mad speed with Duvernay as well, and James Proche is more of a possession-y guy. But also we addressed the defensive tackle when Michael Pierce is gone, and obviously we've got Calais Campbell, but he's more of an edge defender. Whereas I've got to pronounce his name right, so I've written it down. Justin Madubuike in the third round, who has the potential to start. We also got another D lineman in Broderick Washington, who I don't think will start, but has potential to play some special teams. We also addressed guard in the 4th and 5th. We addressed everything we needed to address, and we got J.K. Dobbins in the 2nd, who, after doing some more research into him, he holds the single season record for Ohio State Buckeyes, above players like Eddie George and Ezekiel Elliott.
He's overrated. I'm sorry.
Do you think so?
I do. I think you take a look at that Ohio State O-line. Take a look at them dominate the Michigan O-line. Admittedly, we were a bit.
Take a look at him run through every single arm tackle.
Yeah, of course he does. He's got 4.4 speed, 4.35 speed. He's ridiculously fast. He's strong, but in terms of his ability to win at the line of scrimmage and get break tackles and stuff there, I don't think he's got it.
He was a workhorse back for Ohio
State. He's a product of his O-line. He barely gets touched. I could have had
big holes.
Rushing season with that team, right? It's not hard when you've got
big words.
Short stand. I reckon you could have hit 1,500.
Well, yeah. Well, just for reference, J.K. Dobbins had over 2,000, so which is the highest ever against players such as Eddie George and Ezekiel Elliott. So I think having a good O-line or not, it's still pretty mental, because Ezekiel Elliott had a pretty good O-line, if I remember, as well.
Would you take Ezekiel Dobbins though?
What?
Would you take
Zeke.
Zeke or Dobbins?
Zeke, no question.
Yeah,
Zeke.
yeah, obviously, because
Exactly.
Zeke's more of an all-round sort of pass blocker as well as receiver.
Exactly.
To be
And he
fair,
can
he's a
actually-
good
and he can
player to
actually
be
change
added to that
direction.
rotation you've got.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he's going to be coming in, splitting time with Mark Ingram. He's not necessarily going to be the starting running back, and I
Which is a
think,
good thing.
yeah, I think but I think he'll gain
I
some
love it.
experience coming in, getting some reps as a change of pace back compared to Mark Ingram. And he has
Okay.
potential to go off. And he's just an extra pick. We've addressed everything else, including Geno
Yeah,
Stone
so, I
in
mean,
the
as-
7th round,
yeah.
by the way, who is pretty damn good at safety, considering we got rid of Tony Jeffs.
Tony Jefferson.
Jefferson. Yeah,
I was about to make the comment about how well you've done this week with names, and then you've
I said
fallen at
Tony
the last hurdle, my friend.
Jefferson. I'm allowed to say that.
No, that's not how you spell it.
That's just a Joeism. Get over it.
That is a Joeism. Okay, then you've patented that, have you? Nice.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Well, Slew, I know for a fact you're not going to say the Eagles.
I actually am going to
Because-
say the Eagles.
No, you're not.
You're not.
You're not.
No, I'm not.
Thank you.
I was going to say I'd love to watch you
I was
try and
gonna
argue your
rip
way
you
out of
to
that one
shreds.
because it's not going to fly, fella. But yeah, so we'll have a non-biased Slew pick, please.
I really like what the Denver Broncos have done this draft.
Nice. Yep. 100% agree.
Yeah.
They've
that's a
gone
good one.
all in basically on giving Drew Lock the best chance he can to succeed. If you had Jerry Judy and KJ Hamler to a team that already has Melvin Gordon, Cortland Sutton, Philip Lindsay, Noah Fant, that's a dangerous air attack. Add in, I'm going to screw this name
Yeah,
up.
just say O.
Albert-
Just say O. Albert O.
Alberto.
It's Ogwu Igbenon. That's how you say it.
Yeah.
We say it like that.
With the stutters
click
as well.
down saying it.
Ogwu
Click down saying it and
Igbenon.
put it into mine. Albert.
Yeah. Oh.
Who was one of Locke's favourite targets in Mizzou, and he runs a 4.49 which is even faster
Yeah.
than Noah Fant. They even up the O line. Lloyd Cushenberry in the third, who shouldn't have
That was a
got
really
anywhere
good
near
pick.
anywhere near that far down.
Yeah.
And at the very least, it gives them a chance to see if the Broncos can actually draft a quarterback, because this is the most weapons they've
That's-
given one
yeah.
since Peyton Manning did in, was it 2015, 2016?
15, yeah.
When they
I
got
think so.
absolutely spanked by the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
That
When
was
they,
one of the ugliest Super Bowls of all time.
Nah.
but either way, I think the Drew Lock, who did actually look pretty competent towards the end of the year, you give him all these weapons, and at the very least, you know if you do have an NFL starter in him now. So no excuses for Elwell, the Broncos in the future. They should be putting up a lot of numbers next year, especially
Yeah,
in a
agreed.
division where there's a lot of high-scoring teams, and you're going to have to score 25, 30 points a game to even get close to competing.
The Broncos got better in free agency and they got better in the draft, so
Mm.
I don't
They were my
see
team
how-
of both
yeah.
of them, actually.
Yeah.
That's 2 times the better. Good picks, Luke. Yeah, I had the Broncos here as well. There was a few I really struggled with this one, to be honest, because there was quite a few teams that I really liked what they did. As I mentioned
You
before,
say
the
Dolphins,
Bengals.
for God's sake.
Hey,
Yeah,
I've got the
don't-
Dolphins on here. I'm not going to ride with it. I'm not going to ride with it.
No.
I'm
No,
not going to
right
ride
with
with
it,
it.
because Joe was telling us while you were on your break that he's actually put up a lot of points to why the Dolphins
They were
buggered
pretty
it.
much the first, not buggered it. I just don't think they're the most. They shouldn't be talked in contention of most improved team based on their
I mean,
2 other first round
okay.
picks.
okay. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see how the season plans out, Joey. But okay.
Okay.
So, but to save the argument, I'm going to ride with the Vikings. I really liked what the Vikings did.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mentioned before the Jefferson pick. I thought was really, really good. And then their other first round pick as well. What's that, Slew? Have you got the Vikings as well?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, and I think Gladney as well was a fantastic pick. Again, just doing it's super simple for me with drafting. You've just got to fill the glaring holes on your roster, and I think the Vikings did a really good job of that overall as well.
Another one would be the Browns
Dolphins,
as
I know.
well.
Yeah.
Jets.
The Browns.
Browns.
Yeah, with
Browns
Jedrick
O-line.
Wills. Jedrick Wills is a position of need, like before. They took arguably the best one fell to them at 10, which is pretty mad considering a lot of us had them going at like 49. Grant Delpit in the second round, pretty damn good. And they also addressed centre, so they're addressing their issues. Jordan Elliott's pretty good as well.
They got a steal in the 6th as well.
Jordan Elliott's good.
Donovan Peoples-Jones out of
Peoples-Jones, yeah.
Michigan. He didn't
Oh,
shine
you
in
love
Michigan
Tim
because
Stan. I remember you
I
saying.
do love him, but the quarterback situation with Shea Patterson wasn't ideal, and it was a new scheme.
ideal?
And it it was a new scheme we were running with Josh Gattis, our new offensive coordinator last year. So things weren't running as smoothly as we would have liked. But he's a class receiver. Admittedly, he should have stayed in college, but he could turn out to be someone.
Could be good.
To be
Yeah,
fair, what he
and
does
I mean
need
that
to improve is
receiving
route running
core as well.
stuff. He's arguably the best position there with Landry and Beckham, who will teach him how to run routes properly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is he not a bit
Yeah,
of a
that's
similar
true. Yeah, the
receiver in a way, though,
Browns
to
are good.
Jarvis Landry?
Possibly. I don't know. I've never really thought about that.
Is he as? I mean, I don't. I won't profess to know loads and loads about Donovan Peoples-Jones. To be fair, I didn't watch a lot of Michigan last year, but I remember Landry coming out was super, elusive and was great with the ball in his hands. Is that the sort of player that Donovan Peoples-Jones is as well?
Yeah, he's a great punt returner. He's great with ball in hand, but yeah, he just needs to work on his beating coverage, essentially beating man coverage.
Yeah, I think you can afford to take a prototype in the 6th round as well, like worst case scenario. And if you said he's good at punt returning, then I mean it's just some value you'd get out of him. Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, there you have it, guys. Most improved teams. I mean, I think to conclude, really, we said quite a few. But yeah, well, that will do it for this week then on our draft coverage. Thank you so much for listening. As always, you can catch all of our stuff on social media and on our website. So the website is thedropback.com. The social media, we've got Instagram @thedropback, Twitter @thedropback, and Facebook @thedropback UK. Give them a search to catch up with everything that we're doing, from articles to analysis to lots and lots of different stuff. So yeah, all that's left now is for me to say, thank you very much to my guests and to sign off. So I've been Matt. Thanks so much for listening.
I've been Slew, and apparently I'm one of Matt's guests.
Yes, I've been Joe, and I'm also one of the faithful guests of this podcast. Thank you, thank God, Matt put me on here.
Yeah, and I've been Stan. This is my first podcast. I'm glad to be one of the guests.
Excellent. That's right, guys. This is me usurping control. I now own the podcast. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Take care. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.
The Drop Back with Sam Lewis, Matt Burns-Peak, and Joe Costanzo.